Taking a look at the live chat here, want to thank Scarlett LaRouge for a very generous $20 super chat. Thank you so much, Scarlett, for supporting us at that level. And if I'm understanding your message correctly, you're checking in from the Bahamas, which is very cool if so. Scarlett says, we have loved seeing all the launches with a southeast trajectory. Says hello. Thank you, Scarlett. Appreciate the message and the support tonight. Also, thanks to Paz Maria H, one of our wonderful channel members, for a $2 super chat, saying congratulations to all the graduates in the class of 2024. And yes, if you're graduating from high school or graduating from college or you're getting your graduate degree or your PhD, heartfelt congratulations to everyone in the class of 2024. And we here at Spaceflight Now wish you well on all of your future endeavors. Best of luck and smooth sailing. And our thanks to Rick Donner for gifting 5 Spaceflight Now memberships. Appreciate that, Rick. Very kind of you. And to our newest channel members, welcome aboard. We're glad to have you with us. And be sure to thank Rick in the live chat if you haven't already. We are now T minus 37 minutes, 12 seconds, and counting. At this point in time, we expect SpaceX to have made a call on the start of propellant mode tonight. That process set to begin in 2 minutes if they are ready to go. We are T minus 35 minutes and counting. At this point, we are expecting SpaceX to have started fueling the Falcon 9 rocket if they are in a position to do so. So we'll stand by for any updates from SpaceX that fueling has in fact begun. Also want to note that this is not the only mission launching tonight from around the world and not the only mission from a U.S. Rocket company as well. Rocket Lab is preparing to launch the second of two of NASA's pre-fire CubeSat satellites. And they note that Electron is, quote, icy with locks as the team makes progress through the launch operations. They're looking for a liftoff from down in New Zealand. Liftoff time is coming up at 3:13 p.m. local time there in New Zealand, 3:13 a.m. UTC. For those of us here on the East Coast, that is 11:13 p.m. So a little less than an hour from when the Falcon 9 rocket launches. We'd like to watch that launch. I believe their coverage starts, just about when ours is wrapping up, so you can pop over to their YouTube channel for that. love to be able to cover it here tonight for y'all, but given the early start time that we have coming up for the Starliner mission tomorrow, we're going to go ahead and let you check that out over on the Rocket Lab page tonight. We do have confirmation that SpaceX has begun prop load on the Falcon 9 rocket tonight, so they are committed to at least making a run at launching at 10:37 p.m. Eastern, 02:37 UTC. So that is certainly good news. As much as SpaceX can control things, they're going to go ahead and make a run at it tonight. So now we are T minus 32 minutes, 51 seconds, and counting. Coming up in just a couple of minutes here at the T minus 30-minute mark, SpaceX teams will load cryogenic helium onto the pressure vessels on the first stage. Helium is used to pressurize the main propellant tanks during flight. That same process will begin on the Falcon 9 second stage at about T minus 25 minutes. Taking a look at the live chat, want to thank the now more than 8,400 of you that are joining with us live. We appreciate you popping in on a Friday night. If you haven't already, we'd love it if you could hit the like button for us. It allows more folks to find this live coverage and lets the YouTube algorithm do its thing. Bring more folks here as we continue on with the final roughly 30 minutes of the count. I want to thank a few more folks for your support as well. Thanks to Stephen Ross for a very generous $20 super chat. Really appreciate that, Stephen, for supporting us at that level. And Stephen says, thank you for, as always, for the work you do. Thank you for supporting us in doing the work we do. Psychonaut69 gifting another Space Flight Now membership. So welcome aboard to our newest channel member. Be sure to thank Psychonaut in the live chat if you haven't already. $2 super chat from another one of our wonderful channel members, Janine DC, saying hello, Will, Pete, Adam, Chuck, and the mods. Hello to you, Janine. Hope you're having a good Friday night. Doug Johnson with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Doug. Doug says, we tune in when we can, but you've helped. I love this message. We tune in when you can, but you've helped get my 4-year-old son into rockets and spaceflight, and it's been really fun sharing that with him. Thank you. Well, it's comments like that that really do make this job worthwhile. If it wasn't already worthwhile for the work itself, knowing that we're having some small part in inspiring a younger generation through our reporting and commentary to learn more about the space adventure is really, really cool. So thank you for sharing that with us, Doug. And hello to your 4-year-old kid. Josh King with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Josh. Asking what my favorite launch so far this year has been. Um, probably a probably a three-way tie, honestly, right now between the Delta IV Heavy launch, given that was the only Delta IV Heavy that I've seen in person, and it was the final one ever. The Crew 8 mission was great. Having had an opportunity to sit down with them each one-on-one at the Johnson Space Center, got to know them a little bit better, and so it was really great seeing them launch and seeing the work that they've been doing on station. And of course, the most recent flight of Starship was always super impressive. So that's probably my answer to that one. Is not a singular launch, but probably those three in no particular order. Sort of Jazz asking where are we going to be filming tomorrow? Well, we'll be broadcasting as we are tonight from the press site here at the Kennedy Space Center. So we'll be right here. There's a callback from one of our earlier streams this week. I Can't remember if it was during the Earth Care launch or the last Starlink, but thank you for that, Rick. And Rick saying, "Will, I've been binging X-Men '97 all day trying to pick out your brother." LOL. Well, I will save you the hunting and let you know my brother Isaac is the voice of the X-Men character named Bishop. So without giving any spoilers away, um, he is he's featured within the first two episodes. I think the first three episodes of the series, and he also has some additional voice work in the season finale. So if you have not watched it, I will not spoil who he is. But if you watch the credits and look for Isaac Robinson Smith, you'll see who else he was voicing. Bishop. Well, let me not spoil anything. I'll stop talking now. But yes, thanks for asking, Rick. We're now T minus 27 minutes, 13 seconds and counting. As you mentioned, this will be the 14th flight of this particular booster, flying on the 14th mission for SpaceX in the month of May. While we have some time between now and the big event, let's go ahead and step through the booster history of this particular first stage, tail number 1076 in the SpaceX fleet. Booster first launch was a Dragon flight to the International Space Station back on November 26, 2022. Headed up from Launch Complex 39A, this was the Commercial Resupply Services Mission, or CRS 26, sending up the Cargo Dragon spacecraft to the ISS with more than 7,700 pounds of science and cargo in tow. Second launch came on January 10th of last year. This was the OneWeb Flight 16 mission, the second of three dedicated launches of the OneWeb constellation. Of course, after Russia invaded Ukraine, OneWeb launched the Soyuz rocket as a launch vehicle, then decided to buy three dedicated flights from SpaceX and two from India to send up its remaining constellation. OneWeb has 647, 647 or 637, one of the two, but in excess of 600 satellites in low Earth orbit supporting its internet constellation. Those satellites manufactured here on Merritt Island at the Airbus OneWeb satellite facility. It's right across the street from Blue Origin's factory where they manufacture and prepare the New Glenn rocket for its missions coming up. First flight later this year. Speaking of flights, third flight of this booster was its first round with Starlink satellites. That was back on February 27th. This was also the very first batch of the V2 Mini version of Starlinks. That was the 6-1 mission. That was followed up on April 7th when this booster supported the launch of satellite called Intelsat 40E. Communication satellite also included a NASA payload called the Tropospheric Emissions Monitoring of Pollution, that acronym shortened down to TEMPO. This is a UV visible spectrometer that monitors air pollutants hourly across North America. And in fact, just yesterday, as a matter of fact, NASA and the Center for Astrophysics at Harvard and Smithsonian shared that the TEMPO instrument and its air quality data is now being shared publicly for the first time. So you can go over to their website and start to see down to a neighborhood scale near real-time information on air pollutants around the United States. So very cool tool that will be used to help monitor pollutants like ozone, sulfur dioxide, and formaldehyde during the daytime. And at nighttime, we can also measure light pollution. So hopefully, the information gathered by Tempo will help inform some city planners and other community leaders on ways to help improve neighborhoods and communities around the world, or excuse me, around the United States at least. Hopefully, more instruments like this can be introduced to improve conditions around the world total. Launches 5 through 8 for this particular booster were all Starlink flights. Those included Starlink 6-3 on May 19th, 6-6 on July 24th, 6-14 on September 9th, 6-21 on October 5th. The ninth launch carried up the O3B Power 5 and 6 satellites manufactured by Boeing. They headed up to medium Earth orbit on behalf of the satellite operating company, SES. The 10th launch of this booster was the Ovzon 3 satellite on behalf of the company called Ovzon. That mission went up on January 3rd of this year. Launch number 11 was another batch of 23 Starlink satellites. That was Starlink 6-40 that lifted off from Pad 40 on February 29th. It was followed up by the launch of Eutelsat 36D for French satellite operator Eutelsat on March 30th. And most recently, another Starlink mission, Starlink 6-54, that lifted off from Pad 40 here at the Cape back on April 28th. We're now T minus 21 minutes, 48 seconds and counting. Just about a minute and some change away from the start of the big event as they chill the feed lines at the strong back prior to second stage LOX load. And T minus 20 minutes, 16 seconds and counting. The so-called big vent now in swing here at the press site, or at the pad, indicating that SpaceX is on track with fueling operations for its Falcon 9 rocket. This conditioning will continue till about T minus 16 minutes and 30 seconds when the big vent wraps up, preparing for second stage LOX load to begin at T minus 16 minutes. now T minus 17 minutes, 51 seconds and counting. Just a little more than a minute left on the big vent here. I want to thank the nearly 13,000 of you who are watching with us live tonight. If you haven't already, be sure to hit the like button if you would. It allows more folks to find their way in to our live coverage. Allow the YouTube algorithm to steer this way, noting the engagement. Taking a look at the chat, I want to thank a few more folks for your support tonight. One of our wonderful channel members, Breezy49, the $5 super chat. Thank you, Breezy. Saying thank you for your great coverage and commentary. I really appreciate your support of that tonight. Channel member B Porter has been a channel member for 2 months, the pad leader level. We're certainly appreciative of you sticking with us, B Porter. Curious now where B Porter is watching from, since they say Bruno the Black Bear will be enjoying the watch tonight. 400, I'm assuming 400-pound male just popped onto the cam. Everyone enjoy. Well, hopefully wherever you and Bruno the Bear are not in close proximity. But I guess fun that we have a bear kind of in the audience tonight. We're now T minus 16 minutes, 18 seconds and counting. You see the big vent has wrapped up and second stage LOX load about to commence. Our thanks as well to Mel Roberts Harold with a $5 super chat. Mel says, made it back to Coco, ready to set up the launch chair. Well, Mel, you made it back just in time, not only, of course, for the Starlink launch tonight, but for the Starliner launch coming up tomorrow, just afternoon. Everything continues to go well with ULA, Boeing, and NASA. Expedition Greg has been a member for a month. It's always cool to see people hit that 1 month mark. Glad to have you with us, Greg. Greg says, thank you for everything you and your crew do to bring this coverage to us. Yes, I'll pass the kudos along to the fellas, because it is certainly a team effort for these live launches, and especially big coverage like we've got coming up tomorrow, and for the Starliner, or excuse me, the Starship launch. Too many rockets that start with Star. Starliner, the spacecraft, Starship, coming up no earlier than June 5th. Thanks to Kenneth Piles as well for a $10 super chat. Thank you, Kenneth, who says lifetime launcher, 30 years of service, second generation of Boeing and ELV launch service program from 2002 to 2015. Disabled at 52. Well, thank you for your service, Kenneth, and I'm sure it's been quite the career being a part of the ELV launch service program. We got a note earlier in our coverage of inspiring a youngster to get interested in spaceflight, and we see got some inspiration for some of the older generations. Sergeant Jazz with a $5 super chat saying, just applied to SpaceX today. You guys made me do it. Well, good luck in whatever position you applied for. I hope it makes you happy. And finally, for now, thanks to Adam with a very generous $20 super chat, and channel member Nelson Reyes for gifting 5 Spacefly Now memberships. Thank you, Nelson. To our 5 newest channel members, welcome aboard. We're glad to have you with us. Be sure to thank Nelson in the live chat if you haven't already. A little bit breezy tonight as we've been talking throughout the broadcast, so apologies for the shaking in the cam view you're about to see, but as we are continuing on through the count, want to take some time to talk about the vehicle that's going to be launching tonight. Of course, SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket, which stands at 70 meters or 229 feet tall, with a diameter of 3.66 meters or 12 feet. Majority of that made up of the Falcon 9 first stage. It's the bottom 2/3 of the rocket. And the booster, of course, that is preparing to fly tonight has flown 13 times before, going in for its 14th, tail number 1076 in the SpaceX fleet. The base of the first stage are 9 Merlin engines, which burn rocket-grade kerosene and liquid oxygen, producing 1.7 million pounds of thrust. Around the engine compartment are black carbon fiber landing legs that will be used to land the first stage on the drone ship, a shortfall of gravitas. Above the first stage is the inner stage. This is a composite structure consisting of an aluminum honeycomb core surrounded by carbon fiber. In the image on the right side of your screen, you can see those deployable hypersonic grid fins. These are titanium winglets that provide stability and steering for the Falcon 9 as it comes back through the atmosphere tail first, like a big old dart towards the drone ship. At the top of the inner stage are 3 mechanical latches that attach to the second stage. At first stage main engine cutoff, high pressure helium is used to release those latches. Automatic pushers ensure a clean separation. Second stage engine nozzle is also housed safely inside the inner stage adapter until stage separation. Speaking of that second stage, the upper stage of the Falcon 9 powered by a single modified Merlin engine called a Merlin vacuum engine or an MVAC engine. It's equipped with a large nozzle which is optimized for burns in the vacuum of space, hence the name. It produces more than 200,000 pounds of thrust. It will be fired twice on today's flight, placing the 23 Starlink satellites into their intended orbit. That MVAC engine burns the same propellant mix, that being RP1 and LOX, same as the first stage. Following satellite deployment, that Merlin vacuum engine will ignite for a third time on a deorbit burn. It will drive the upper stage back into the atmosphere, where it will burn up and help to eliminate the risk of creating any unnecessary space debris on this mission. Finally, the payload fairings at the top of the rocket, encapsulating the 23 Starlink satellites. Fairing is made up of a carbon composite material, 13.1 meters or 43 feet tall, 5.2 meters or 17.1 feet in diameter. Two halves of the payload fairings will be recovered a little bit further downrange from where the first stage lands in the drone ship. They gently splash down under parachutes, and the recovery vessel Doug will scoop them out of the water, return them to Port Canaveral, and then subsequently Cape Canaveral Space Force Station for refurbishment and reuse. Of course, SpaceX is in the process of certifying both its payload fairings as well as its first stage boosters for up to 40 flights each. You can look back at the live chat here. I want to thank uh, handle name Joe Biden Falling for a £5 super chat. We'll appreciate the support. Janine with a $2 super chat, wishing safe travels to United Launch Alliance, and of course supporting the NASA astronauts Butch Wilmore, Sonny Williams, inside the Starliner spacecraft set to launch at 12:25 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks as well to one of our channel members, SG, for a $4 super chat. Really appreciate that, SG. Mr. Jim Edgar joining us with a very generous $50 super chat. Thank you so much, Jim. It's wonderful to see you tonight, and we really appreciate you supporting us at that level. Thank you so much. Jim says, Jim Edgar, Elise Bean, Timmery are watching with the cats, Millie, Rex, Kip from Snoqualmie, Washington. And I will always appreciate the phonetic spelling of Snoqualmie, Jim. Maybe someday I'll just remember the pronunciation, but until that day, the phonetic spelling is much appreciated. Kells with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Kells. Richard Cochran with a £10 super chat. And a bit of a wordplay here. Lock's loading. Why are they filling it with smoked salmon? But bum. Audrey Ackroyd with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Audrey. Rita Loy's been a member for 6 months. We appreciate you sticking with us, Rita, who says, I'm glad to support Spaceflight now. We really appreciate it. We are very much powered by our channel members here, so thank you for your ongoing support of what we do here at Spaceflight Now. back to the live chat in just a moment here. We're at T minus 7 minutes, 38 seconds and counting. Let's talk about the launch timeline now. This is the sequence of events that we're expecting once the rocket leaves the pad. Of course, the liftoff is set for 10:37 p.m. Pacific, or excuse me, Eastern tonight. That's 0237 UTC. T plus 1 minute and 11 seconds, the rocket will begin to pass through max Q, or the point of greatest aerodynamic pressure on the vehicle. It's followed up by a few different events in fairly rapid succession. Starts with first stage main engine cutoff, or MECO, at T plus 2 minutes and 25 seconds, followed 4 seconds later by stage separation. Second stage engine ignition, or SES1, at 2 minutes 36 seconds. And then the payload fairings will be jettisoned at T plus 2 minutes 58 seconds. T plus 6 minutes and 3 seconds, the first stage entry burn begins. That burn lasting 21 seconds in total. Sets up for the first stage landing burn to begin at T plus 7 minutes 49 seconds. And then booster 1076 in the SpaceX fleet set to touch down on the drone ship a short fall of gravitas at T plus 8 minutes and 9 seconds. 30 seconds later, the Merlin vacuum engine will cease firing. SECO 1. The upper stage will go into a parking orbit and coast until T plus 54 minutes and 3 seconds, when there will be a brief 2-second burn, setting up for the Starlink satellites to deploy at T plus 1 hour, 5 minutes, and 12 seconds. We're now T minus 5 minutes and 49 seconds and counting. We are just about a minute away from the start of the strong back retract sequence. Again, that'll begin with the clamp arms underneath the payload fairings opening up. Then the transporter erector of the strong back will incline about 1.5 degrees away from the rocket. Stay in that position until liftoff.
Tanks are pressing for strong back retract.
T minus 4 minutes, 50 seconds and counting. Getting some pad views here from SpaceX now.
Strong back lower has started. Strong back lower has started.
We're now T minus 4 minutes and counting. See those clamp arms underneath the payload fairing opening up. You should see the strong back start to move away from the rocket in just a matter of seconds. Again, it's just a slight lean back. It'll pull back in a much more rapid fashion as we hit liftoff. As we come into the final few minutes of the count, certainly want to thank the more than 27,000 of you who are joining with us live. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that like button. Allow some more folks to find their way in on these last few minutes before liftoff. Now T minus 3 minutes and counting.
Stage 1 LOX load complete. Stage 1 LOX load complete.
than 2 minutes away from liftoff. Coming up on the conclusion of fueling. Next few seconds here. I want to thank Anthony Broski
Stage 2, launch
and
load
Lithium
complete.
Battery Company for each gifting a $20 super chat.
Stage
Thank
2,
you to
launch load complete.
both of you for supporting us at that level. Lithium Battery says, please say thank you to my wife for letting the baby stay up to watch the rocket launch tonight. Thank you to Lithium Battery's wife. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us for a little bit longer. Just got a minute and a half left to go before liftoff here.
Gas launch closeouts has started.
Put in a couple more super chats. Thanks to
Gas launch closeouts has started.
Audrey Ackroyd. You see ground gas closeouts now in swing. B1 for $2 super chat saying, can't wait till we get back to the moon. Sly Fox 720 Studios and Jesse Mason both with $20 super chats. Really appreciate that, Sly and Jesse, for supporting us at that level. Jesse says,
Falcon 9
love
is in
Spaceflight
startup.
Now. Keep up the good work to everyone who works to bring us the coverage.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
Speaking of the coverage, we will come back to the live chat on the other side of booster landing. But for now, let's go ahead and focus here on the rocket. So we're waiting for the launch director
go for launch.
to make their call.
LD, go for launch.
And with that, SpaceX is poised to launch its Falcon 9 rocket in 30 seconds.
T-minus 30 seconds.
This will be the 40th Falcon 9 launch of the year, dedicated to sending up Starlink V2 mini satellites. Now 15 seconds away.
15 seconds.
And here we go in 10, 9, 8, 7,
10,
6,
9,
5,
8,
4,
7, 6,
3,
5,
2,
4,
1. Engine
3,
ignition
2, 1.
and
ignition.
liftoff.
And
Liftoff of the
liftoff.
Falcon
Go
9 rocket,
Starlink, go
the
Falcon.
14th for SpaceX in the married month of May.
Vehicle switching downrange.
Falcon 9 has cleared the tower and is soaring high above Florida Space Coast. Beautiful vantage point from here at the press site. Falcon 9 rocket lifts off from Pad 40 at Canaveral Space Force Station, illuminating the clouds above. Views here from our Adam Bernstein's tracking camera here at the press site as
Power
well.
and telemetry nominal. Power and telemetry nominal.
Tracking now from Pete Carson's with Max Q Productions.
Falcon 9 is supersonic.
Into a minute of flight.
Falcon 9 is supersonic.
Falcon 9 now traveling faster than the speed of sound, supersonic. Coming up to Max Q, the point of greatest
Max Q.
aerodynamic pressure on the vehicle now.
Max Q.
Coming up on those events in fairly rapid succession here. First will be first stage main engine cutoff for Miko. T plus 2 minutes and 25 seconds. That'll be followed 4 seconds later by stage separation. And second stage engine start at 2:36. And then fairing deployment just before the 3-minute mark. That call and back chill, they are thermally conditioning the Merlin vacuum engine preparation for its start. Good tracking views here from our Adam Bernstein. And Pete Carson's less than 10 seconds now from Miko. And there you see main engine cutoff.
Miko.
Stage
Stage
separation.
separation confirmed.
Miko.
Second stage engine start.
Separation confirmed.
And back ignition. And back ignition.
callouts as we're seeing the onboard cameras now from SpaceX. Those hypersonic grid fins are deploying.
Fairing separation confirmed.
Payload fairings
Fairing
been
separation
jettisoned.
confirmed.
Still getting good tracking views from our Adam Bernstein here at the press site. Some cloud coverage making it a little tricky. So view again from Pete Carson's. Now T plus 3 minutes, 43 seconds counting into this mission. Next big milestone coming up will be the start of the entry burn at T plus 6 minutes and 3 seconds. That burn lasting 21 seconds in total. As the Falcon 9 first stage begins to slam on the brakes and slow itself down in preparation for the landing burn. So far, all proceeding nominally with this Starlink 6-64 mission. Continuing to see a good burn of that Merlin vacuum engine. Toggling between the camera views on the onboard cameras. The engineers going back and forth, making sure that there's still a good and consistent burn of that engine. Now coming up on the 5th minute into flight.
Vehicles are on a nominal trajectory. Vehicles are on a nominal trajectory.
Good call out from SpaceX. We're now less than a minute away from the start of that first stage entry burn. Depending on where the clouds are hitting, we may or may not be able to see it with our ground tracking cameras, but we can spot it. We'll be sure to bring that to you. Now just seconds away from the start of that entry burn in real time.
Stage 1 FTS has safed. Stage 1
Stage 1
like we-
entry
FTS
burn
has
startup.
safed.
Got it.
Stage 1
Well
entry
done
burn
to
startup.
Pete and Adam. That entry burn now coming to a conclusion in real time. Continuing on in a
Stage
slight
1
delay
entry
from the
burn
SpaceX
shutdown.
feed.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
Stage 2 FTS has safed.
And with the conclusion of that entry burn, that
Stage
sets
2
up
FTS has safed.
the start of the landing burn coming up at T plus 7 minutes and 49 seconds. So far, all continuing
Vehicles
to
are
move
on
smoothly
nominal
with this
trajectory.
mission.
Vehicles are on nominal trajectory.
Following a nominal trajectory. Still getting views from the upper stage.
Stage 1 transonic. Stage 1 transonic.
We're a few seconds away from the start of the landing burn.
Stage 1 landing burn. Stage 1 landing burn.
Stage 2 in terminal guidance. Stage 2 in terminal guidance.
Now hearing that audio coming from the drone ship, shortfall of ground times.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy. Stage 1 landing leg deploy. Stage 1 landing confirmed. Stage 1 landing confirmed.
And for a 14th time using a booster flying on the 14th mission of the month, 1076 safely touched down on the drone ship.
Invac shut down. Invac shut down.
And with that call out for MVAC shutdown, the upper stage going into that parking orbit I mentioned earlier will continue to coast until about T plus 54 minutes and 3 seconds. There will be a brief 2-second burn, setting up for the Starlink satellites to